definitely see them better in the winter when the trees aren't full.
Hi, Chloe. She's praying. She liked those toys. You know when they show their stomachs like that? That means they like you a lot.
Oh yeah?
You didn't know that?
No, I thought it meant she wanted her belly rubbed.
No, usually when they're confessionate about you, is that the right word?
Okay, what?
They're... Can't think of that word that they use.
Like confiding in you, or they're...
They like you a lot, and they mean that they show...
Comfortable.
Huh?
Comfortable?
A different word for comfortable. Can't think of it. Chloe's a good girl. Chloe's a good baby. Hey, Chloe. Hi, Chloe. Hi, Chloe. He's a baby boy. Baby boy. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? You want to play? What's up, guys? So I woke up not too long ago and just waiting for a phone call from my mom because today I am going to the State House with my class. So bringing it along with me. I'm bringing this guy to the Digicam because I don't want to bring my big camera because I'm not sure if I can take that because there will be security there. So I'm bringing a small little point and shoot today. And I've been using this on my phone, a Pi. If you ever heard of it, it's a AI generator. You can tell it anything and it will give you answers and just answer your questions. And I've been using that a lot lately, and I kind of like it, surprisingly. But I've been using it every single morning, asking it questions, and it seems to remember what I asked it, so that's kind of cool. So I told it something about Winter and Fluffy, and he seemed to remember their names, and seemed to remember what they look like, because I told them what they look like, so he remembers it, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, so at the State House. In the State House now.
We decide how we use the dollars that we have from your taxes. So has anyone ever noticed that when you go out to eat, you get charged for your food, but then there's something down below that says taxes. And it usually says the number 7, and it has a 7%. So what that means is that is money that goes directly back to our government. And that's how we fund our schools, our roads, and our bridges, for example. And all those decisions have to be made by state representatives like myself, because we come together to talk about how that money should be used. And we'll go into more detail about it, so we'll make our way down the hall.
Are we on time? We're on time.
Yeah, we're on time.
It's 11:30? Yep, it's 11:30.
Say hi to YouTube, kid.
Hey! Fans?
We had to gather at 11:30.
Hey!
That's the parking lot, like 4
Yeah, so I've been on YouTube for over a decade now. I've been on YouTube for like 15 years now.
Give me 1 second. Awesome. This is called the General Treasurer's Office. So this is the office of the elected official who decides how we use some of the retirement money. Because if you work for the state, you have access to something that's called a pension, which is your retirement plan. And it is up to the treasurer's office to make sure that when you give money for your retirement, that they use it wisely and they invest it. That way when you retire, you get back more money than what you put in. So this is a very, very important office. So again, it's called the General Treasurer's Office.
VIP.
Yeah, the ARP works really closely with them to make sure that they give their retirees their money.
That's where they keep all the money, right?
That is where they keep all the money. It's very
Right in that room.
Say hi,
Keep them in because there's a lot of money in there.
Deb, say hi.
They got y'all hanging out here. Okay. Alrighty, though. Alright. So let's make our way to the elevator so we can get up onto the second floor.
All right. There's elevators right there. It's fine if you want the elevator.
All right, Dan, railing is on the right, and there's a flight of stairs. Just keep going, because the trail will keep behind you, so no.
There's a flat. Tell him where the thing is. The landing.
You'll feel it with his cane. All right, then you're gonna turn to your right. You're gonna follow the railing around. And then there's another set of stairs.
You got it, Carmen.
You got the
Come on, Carmen.
The elevator.
And then you're gonna turn to the right.
My buddy Joe.
Follow the railing and another flight of stairs. And then follow the railing around to your right. There's another landing and another set of stairs.
I'm gonna have fun editing this video.
Nice.
Come on.
I'll send you the link if you want to look at it later.
Sure.
I'm making a big video actually.
Nice.
All right, keep following the railing. Use your cane. Turn to your right, and we're gonna go in a big room.
Good job, Dan.
Thank you. Thanks. Whoa, look at this room.
What?
This is the room where all the laws are made. All the representative, I've seen it on TV.
You've seen the building on TV too?
Yeah.
I'm right behind you. Can we go in there?
I don't know.
Can we go in there?
We're gonna go in there right now.
Okay.
Together out here first. You want to sit for a minute? I want to know what this room is.
Can you tell me your name?
Of course, David Morales.
Make sure to check it out on YouTube later on when I upload it.
Absolutely.
Oh, right there, Dave, next to Dan.
No, I'm fine. That's the charge.
Press conferences. Does anyone know what a press conference is?
For the news.
Yeah, it's for the news. Let's say a little more. It's for the news. Do we know what else it does?
For the news stations, for
The people.
the people, right?
Yeah, so Joe said it perfectly. So a press conference is when an organization or the government has a really important announcement to make that they want everyone in the news to be able to hear and record. So what we do is we set up this room with a podium right here where we can give our special announcement about maybe a new law that's been passed, about a new program that people are eligible for. So anytime we've made increases to help support the food bank, for example, so the food bank helps a lot of people in our communities, we want to make sure that we have a press conference to announce that the food bank now has access to more funding, which means that we could open up more food pantries across the state. So this room has 2 TVs, as you can tell. So what we have is a channel called Capital TV. Capital TV is on channel 32 for anyone who has access to public access television, and on Verizon and on Cox. And we have our TV staff that come in and record our press conferences, so they're always airing on the TV.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I used to be on public access too, so.
It's amazing, Joe. So
I used to, I know how that works. I used to do it for ghost hunting and stuff like that, so
You've seen how
Yeah.
there's a lot of details that goes into recording and making sure everything's good. So again, this is where really important announcements are held. And of course, it's always open to the public. So whenever there's a press conference here, people from the media can come in, but also community members can step into the space and be able to hear what's going on. So now I'm going to ask all of us to take our time, and we're going to get up because we're going to go inside. This is very exciting.
All right, I like this one. We're going to the next room to go.
I want to sit up there. Is that okay?
No, not yet, Joe. Let's give it 1 second. We'll go up there right now.
Looks like back in the medieval days.
Yeah,
Like they have like kings, queens, and
exactly so. So let's just get up here in the middle, and then we'll take some seats.
Is it a big room?
These are the original desks. These are the desks that they've sit in since they first had the State House. It goes all the way back. Wow.
did they ever remake the desks, like make it brand new? They ever renovate
Some
them?
renovations, but it's all generally original materials. All right, so now that we're here, I want everyone to look around at all the seats. There are 75
Yeah,
seats.
I gotta put that on
And
my wallet
each
too.
seat is for a different representative.
Feel the seat.
And I think now is the moment for all of us who are serving as representatives for the day to take our own seats. So find a seat that is most comfortable or close
Where's
to
your seat?
Do you want to come and see?
Yeah, I'll show you my seat, Joe.
One of the referees.
I want to sit in your seat,
You want to sit on my seat? All right.
if you don't mind.
Of course. So this one right here will be my seat.
Okay.
So feel free to take the seat.
Mark, and then come sit.
All right, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right, so if you look in front of you, there's an iPad, right? Does everyone see, feel the iPad in front of them?
Yeah.
All right, so tap it. If you tap it, you're gonna see someone's face. And that is the representative who sits in that seat. So if you're sitting next to someone, take a look at who your representative, who you are as a representative, and share with the person next to you.
Who are you?
Robert Craven.
I'm David Morales. I'm him.
Yeah, you are.
Hi, Arthur. Nice to meet you,
And if you look down below where it says the representative's name, it says what area they represent. So I'm hearing from a few folks. Do we have any volunteers who want to share with us whose seat they're sitting in and what area they represent? Can you stand up and let us know?
I'm. It says David Morales, Providence, Rhode Island.
Good job.
Come on, you guys.
I see another representative here who wants to share some information. Newport, wow. So far right, ways away from Providence, but they still come here to represent.
He is the Joby from Providence.
Wow! And she's one of the veterans in our city. Good job. speaker of the house. He's what we would call, in other words, the team captain. So he's the one who helps out the representatives with different bills, and in addition to that, helps develop the budget. And he's also what I would call, more often than not, serving as the teacher. Because if someone wants to stand up and speak on a bill, they would put on one of their lights. So do we all see the buttons in front of us? Yeah, what are the different buttons? Can someone read them off to me? Yeah, Joe, I see Representative Joe back there.
Page, nay, recog, is that how you say it? Recog?
Yeah, so
And yeah.
whenever we have a bill or an issue that we're getting ready to vote on or debate, you would press the recog button. That's known as the white button. When you press the white button, that tells the speaker, hey, I want to speak. I see right now we have Representative Jello, Representative Shawcross-Smith, and Representative Hull with their lights on. Those would be our representatives right here in the front row. So as the speaker, I would call on Representative Jello to stand up and speak, if she wanted to speak in that moment. So next, when we have debate and we have conversations, we have to vote on bills. And you'll notice we have the green button, and we have the red button. So let's say we have a bill about getting more money for our public schools, and you think it's really important that we fund our public schools. How would you vote? Would you vote with the green button or would you vote with the red button?
Green.
Yeah, with the green button. Let's give it a try. So press the red. Are they on?
I pressed it.
But usually during session, if you were to press the green button, it would light up. And that would be an opportunity at that point in time to be able to record your vote as to how you want to be noted. Yes? Oh yeah, that was again open to everyone. So again, as we can see, we have various seats here with all the representatives. Everyone has an opportunity to speak on a different bill, a different topic, a different issue. And then most importantly, we cast our votes. And then depending on how we cast our votes, that's when we decide, does the bill pass or does it fail? And just like a teacher, there are moments where a lot of representatives might start talking and it gets really loud, so the speaker has to hit the gavel to get everyone's attention. This is a good group, so I don't think I have to hit the gavel. Uh-oh.
You have to do it for Keith. Representative,
Yes.
you have to do it for Keith, because you have to bang them out for Keith.
I think Keith is following, the proper order, so we will not ring the gavel on Keith at this moment. He is following procedure, which is fine. And what I wanted to know, though, is if we could have one of our program managers or facilitators just come up at this moment.
That's Keith.
Keith, if you want to come up. And we're going to go through a fun activity right now, and I need Keith's help in order to make it happen.
Go, Keith!
Alright, so may I present to everyone the Speaker of the House, Keith Wilcox.
Should schools have uniforms?
So Keith has presented the first bill, House Bill 7277, which would require all public schools to require a school uniform for students. So at this time, we're going to kindly ask our representatives if they would like to speak to please turn on the white button. And Keith. Sorry? Yes, to speak about this topic in particular. And when your light button is on, Speaker Wilcox will call on you.
Carmen?
Representative Carmen.
Yes. Yes.
You have to stand up and see.
Yes.
Yes, I did agree.
You want to share with us, Mike?
Well, good. Well, students like Representative Carmen should have the right to,
Did you say yes or no?
she said yes, should have a right to have a uniform that fits everyone, especially Representative Carmen Reyes.
Very good.
Thank you, Representative Carmen.
Let's restore the lights.
Nicole, would you like to share? Nicole, would you like to share why you think schools will be the idea to wear uniforms or not? What do you think? You want to talk for you? You don't know? Okay, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Sir.
If you don't have to, okay, that's fine. You don't have to. Dan's not doing anything, so that's okay.
Dan's not doing it? Are you serious?
He said he didn't have an opinion.
You guys think kids should have to wear uniforms to school? All the kids in all the schools? Yes or no?
I think yes, some will avoid dress codes, and everybody will look the same. Less crop tops and less shorts.
Anybody else?
It looks like Speaker Wilcox will not move the amendment, unfortunately.
I think it's a maybe, because depending on the school, if they are doing okay or not, I think it's depending on if they are doing a good job. If they're not, they could be, with the school, can have the dress code, but if they don't, if they're doing a good job, then they don't have to. But I think it's depending on if it's a yes or a no.
Yes, Dad.
I'm not agree with that, Representative Joby. You don't want to use it to punish the kids. I mean, that just causes enough things for them fighting over now. So, I don't think you should make it up, you're not doing well, but really make it wear uniforms. Right, that would be right. And I think that it would be nicer if it does other things, like making sure all the kids have food rather than investing in uniforms. Or make sure they
about you?
I think everybody covered the points pretty well, actually.
If you vote yes on that, please raise your hand.
So the green button is
So if you are a yes vote, we will kindly ask if you believe that there should be a requirement for all schools to have a uniform. Take this time now to press the green button and then raise your hand.
For green.
If you think that this should not be law, now take a moment to press the red button and raise your hand.
Five red.
So we have 4 in the affirmative, 5 in the negative. The act will fail and not become state law. Does anyone else want to take a turn at being Speaker of the House? I want to thank... Yeah, so you feel free to come on.
Speaker coming.
Wait. Whoa. Please be silent.
It's hard to come together with something's
Silence in the court. Should libraries be open on the weekends?
Yay!
Representatives, turn your lights on. If you want to speak, turn your lights on.
currents. I got it.
Representative Joe?
Yes, I do think libraries should be open on the weekends.
Anyone else?
You wanna ask why?
Why?
Because let's say if you need to return something and you can't.
Anyone else? Representative.
Ronnie, you wanna say something?
Okay. Okay, thank you. That is President Gabe. Anyone else?
Yeah, go ahead. Want me to go, Speaker House,
Yes, my friend over here.
I'm in agreement, and I echo everything Dave just said, and if he didn't say it before me, I would have said the same as Dave. I think they should be open on the weekends so that families, children, adults have the opportunity to get books to read and have, encourage reading, because so many people don't read anymore. So I agree with you, Dave.
All right, does anyone disagree? Yes.
So I would like to
rights to vote?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Can I represent what a mom just said? Can you do that?
Can we, sorry, was your question around getting?
She suggested that we table the bill until there's a study.
Oh, yeah. So we can, that is,
So you have to vote on that?
so this is what would happen. You can motion to hold the bill,
Yeah.
and then someone has to second it. If there's a second to table the bill, then we would take a full vote to table it. So it does technically exist. I'm gonna be honest, this is just like information in general. It usually fails to table votes. Yeah, exactly. That's the rationale, right? It's like we've already done the homework. There's no reason to table it. But you know, politics are the politics. So, yeah.
I'd like to motion that we table this and then we for a study. I said,
From one of our representatives. So I think it's time to take the vote on the motion to table.
Yes.
Motion to table, so.
then who does the survey?
You want to table or not to table? Joe, raise your hand to table or not to table.
To table?
One at a time. We'll table.
If you don't want to vote on the bill, if you don't want to vote on it, we're gonna hold it
Until you study it.
until we study it. So we have 1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 6.
all right. So that's 6 to table. If you don't want to table and you want to vote on the bill,
Raise your hand. 1, 2,
We want to
3.
vote on the bill. You guys changed teams over. Pablo,
Did you vote here?
they voted to table. They don't want to table. They want
I
to.
just want to go up. You know.
It's to tabled.
let's give it up to our speaker.
We already got the information. That's how it was tabled.
Representatives, I want to thank you all again for a long night of lawmaking. These were really incredible and thoughtful debates, questions, and most importantly, discussions. So I want to make sure we have enough time to complete the tour up on the 3rd floor and see different parts of the building. So at this time, are there any final comments or words from any representatives before we close out? Yes.
I would just like to know, how did you become a representative? What do you have to do to become a representative?
That's a great question. So I was first elected 4 years ago. And the way it works is if you want to run for office to be a state representative or a senator, you have to talk to people in your community and ask them to vote for you. But you have to explain to your neighbors why they should vote for you. How are you going to help improve the community and their quality of life? And when I first ran for office 4 years ago, I talked about the importance of expanding healthcare services to everyone, regardless of economic background, specifically dental, medical, and mental health, because it's expensive. I talked about improving public schools by accessing opportunities for funding, so we have social workers and counselors, in addition to raising the minimum wage. Thankfully, over the course of 6 months, when I was knocking on doors and talking with them and giving them a flyer about my values and my ideas, I received over 50% of the vote from my neighbors to now be in this position. And every 2 years, I have to run for re-election. So in 2020, I was elected. In 2022, I was re-elected again because the neighbors thought I was doing a good job. And now in 2024, I have to, once again, go to my neighbors, inform them about what's been happening at the State House, and try to seek their support so I could get elected for another term. So that's the process of becoming a state representative, and thank you for asking. And I think it's really important that we have people who live in our communities and understand the issues that our neighbors are facing. They should be the ones that have a voice in government in order to best advocate.
Are there term limits? Do you have a limit on how often you can serve?
That's a wonderful question. So the question was, are there any term limits? Is there a maximum amount of time that someone can be a state representative? Let's do a quick quiz. Yeah, does anyone know how long someone can be president for? What's the maximum time? So that's 8 years total, right? You can't be president for more than 8 years.
Total, not just not 1 year and again. Total, you're rolling.
Total, correct. So that's a great question. So here at the State House, as a state representative, we have no term limits.
How about the governor?
The governor does have term limits. So the governor has the same term limits as the president, which is about 8 years. But when it comes to being a state representative, as long as you keep getting reelected, you can be in office. I've had some colleagues who are good friends of mine who have been here for 32 years, which is longer than I've been alive. So personally, I think we should have term limits. I think it's a responsible thing to give other people an opportunity to be in government. But until the rules change, folks can continue running for re-election. You see, we have a question from Joe as well. Yes.
So, I just wanted to say there was one president that I forgot who was elected over 8 years. So, was that Theodore Roosevelt?
That would be correct. That was one of the Roosevelts, yes. And that took a special constitutional amendment in that moment that then got phased out. So that is no longer allowed. That's a good point. You did your research. We have a historian on our hands. I like it.
But in fairness to, say, the person that's been, 32 years, if nobody's running against them, it's better to have a veteran who knows the system and how it works than to have nobody at all.
I agree. I think there's merit on both sides of the equation as to whether we should or shouldn't have term limits. One can share the point that you have more experience. But then the other half could be, do you become concentrated into the system? Yes.
I think it's like after either the Senate or the representatives, you were on, like senators after they do that. Is it always like a whole new legislators, whole new?
Yeah, so we run for re-election at the same time that the Senate does. So it all happens.
Same amount?
Yeah, yep, no term limits every 2 years. Did you have a question, speaker? Ooh, is the job hard? That's a great question. I would say that it can be stressful sometimes. It's stressful because I have what I think are really good ideas, but not everyone agrees. And so I'm trying to make sure that these ideas become law. Some of the ideas I've had in the past has been to lower the cost of medicine, for example, and have a rule saying that you shouldn't pay more than $25 if you have an inhaler. So if you have a prescribed inhaler, the doctor shouldn't be able to charge you more than $25. I think that's a good idea. I think it helps a lot of people in our communities. But not everyone thinks it's a good idea. There are some insurance companies who will say that that's going to mean everyone's costs are going to go up, and so we shouldn't do it. So I have to deal with some of that stress sometimes because I think it's a good idea. A lot of my neighbors agree, and then they ask me, why hasn't it passed? And I have to explain to them that there are layers of politics that exist in some of these decisions, even when these are good ideas. And I also want to mention to everyone that this is a part-time job. So we are in here from the start of January until the end of June. Just a week ago, last Friday, was our last day at the State House for the year. So now that means that we will not be in here until next January. But as you can imagine, coming up with a state budget on how we use billions of dollars in taxes, in addition to developing laws that are going to take effect next year, that's a lot to do in 6 months. Right? So in those 6 months, there's a lot that happens, and that's why it can get a little stressful.
You're pleasing everyone, must be hard.
Trying to. All right, I don't think I see any further questions. I just want to thank you all so much for taking the time to have sat in these seats and most importantly, making your voices heard. So now we'll continue to move along.
Are there any braille books in here?
That's from the moon.
We'll never know.
see Braille books. Come on, Nicole.
That's from the
They're set
moon.
in resin.
Huh?
They're set in resin.
You actually touch it.
Protect it. Yeah, you can touch it.
So the eyes move when you're walking.